Hello, I'm Liam Jenkins and welcome to highlights of the 2011 Formula SimRacing World Championship. The 11th round of the championship is the Hungarian Grand Prix. One of the most twisty circuits on the calendar, this circuit is very hard on the tyres and is known for its lack of overtaking opportunities. These two factors make qualifying and pit strategy of the utmost importance here at the Hungary. Pole position yielded yet another surprising performance from Patrick de Wit, the fast and speed driver earning his third career pole. Twisted driver at Saki qualified in second, just ahead of Bono Huis. Morgan Moran achieved his best ever qualifying performance, setting the fourth fastest time ahead of Reino Room, who also did well to qualify in fifth. Filling in for Frederick Nilsson, David Dominguez qualified in sixth, ahead of Dimitri de Matos for Too Fast For You and Lee Morris for the Ward F1 team. Blair Disley would start on ninth on the grid, ahead of Mikko Puumalainen in 10th. To the race start and a good launch off the line ensured that Patrick de Wit comfortably kept his first place on the rundown into the first corner. Atse Kirchhoff moved to the outside, then cut across the track to try and get on the inside for turn 2. The move almost worked for Kirchhoff, but into turn 2, the twisted driver slipped on the cold tyres and ran wide. Unfortunately, Kirchhoff then tripped over Moran's front ring and slid into the barriers. De Wit then also slipped due to the cold rubber coming off the track and being challenged by Huis into turn 5. Huis made the pass but ran wide and lost the position back to de Wit, and only just kept ahead of Moran in third. The rest of the field cleanly made it through the opening lap, incident free. It quickly became apparent that Bono Huis was being held up by de Wit, and on lap 6, Huis made a textbook pass through turn 2 to take over the race lead. A small slip up from de Wit later on saw him lose second place to Morgan Moran, who was now in the ideal position to drive on for his maiden podium. Yet another mistake from de Wit resulted in Reino Room slipping past, the fast and speed driver clearly struggling to find any grip. David Dominguez was next in line to overtake de Wit, but the Spaniard put the power down too early on the exit of the final turn, sliding hard into the Armco and ruining his suspension. After just 8 laps, both of the Twister racing cars were out of the race. With a race victory more than enough to secure the 2011 World Championship, Bono Huis continued to lead the race, with Morgan Moran surprisingly keeping up with the Dutchman. A long way behind was Reino Room in third, and after several laps of searching for a way through, Mikko Puumalainen eventually got into a slipstream with de Wit and made a pass into turn 1. The first round of pit stops began as early as lap 15, and while most of the field pitted without an incident, a spin on the entry for Reino Room proved to be disastrous, with the Estonian losing valuable time correcting the car. To add insult to injury, Room then breached the pit speed limit and was handed a stop-and-go penalty. By lap 20, the entire field completed their first stops, and most of those who pitted early had now gained a position. Blair Disley leapfrogged Dimitri de Matos for 4th, Jon-Erik Saxton was now ahead of Lee Morris in the battle for 6th, and Jim Paresis lost out to both Mikkonen and Vermeulen, dropping him into 9th position. However, things soon went wrong for Jaakko Mikkonen when the Finn ran wide out of turn 7, touched the grass, hit Patrick de Wit and slammed his car into the barriers, losing his front wing in the process. In the second stint, Bono Huis managed to slowly pull away from Morgan Moran in second place, looking almost certain to take the race victory. Mikko Puumalainen continued on in third, though he couldn't quite manage to shake off Disley and de Matos. De Matos seemed to be faster than Disley, but with next to no overtaking opportunities, it was nearly impossible for the Frenchman to attempt the pass. Likewise, Lee Morris could not find a way around Jon-Erik Saxton in 6th place, being forced to patiently wait for a mistake. Vermeulen, Paresis and Lapchin made up the rest of the top 10, the 3 drivers running their own races with relatively large gaps in front and behind. De Matos and Saxton were the first drivers to make their second stop, and with de Matos having hopes of leaping Disley, the Frenchman crucially cleared Jim Paresis into turn 1 on his outlap. Both Puumalainen and Disley pitted on the following lap. While it finally looked like Disley had done enough to keep his 4th place, de Matos jumped on the opportunity and used a late corner entry to pass Disley on the inside. A bizarre incident in the pit lane saw Cyril Vermeulen lose control and crash his Matcorp car into his own garage. And in the battle for 6th place, Lee Morris was unable to leap Jon-Erik Saxton, and with no scheduled stops remaining, the Briton would have to find a way through out on the track. However, having yet to make his stop, Yannick Lapchin was caught by Saxton and Morris, and with Saxton unable to immediately find a way round, Morris took full advantage of the situation and made a daring pass up the inside of turn 6. Although it took Morris another lap to clear Lapchin, the The World F1 driver kept ahead of Saxon, and with a clear track in front, Morris quickly pulled away in 6th place. Sadly, Lapchin's race didn't last much longer, with the Too Fast For You engine breaking down with just 18 laps remaining. Having won all but one of the rounds raced so far, Bonoquist secured the 2011 World Championship with a victory at the Hungary, showing a dominance never seen before in a 10-year-long history of the Formula SimRacing League. Morgan Moran finished in 2nd, gaining his first ever podium, and a 2nd podium for ATR Silverline in their maiden season. Mikko Puumalainen rounded off the top 3, driving a rock-solid race for the McCorp team. Dimitri de Matos couldn't find a way around Puumalainen for a podium finish, but was nonetheless delighted with his best ever result in a World Championship Grand Prix. Blair Disley finished a strong race in 5th, ahead of a slightly disappointed Lee Morris in 6th. John Eric Saxon crossed the line in 7th, and Jim Paresis achieved his best result in 8th, picking up valuable points for the Go Speed Racing team. After an unscheduled stop, Jaakko Mikkonen finished in 9th ahead of Patrick de Wit in 10th, and Reino Room then finished in 11th place. Tony Heikkinen was the last of the race finishers in 12th. As the championship has now been won by Bonoquist, the focus now moves on to the battle for 2nd place. Mikko Puumalainen, Nilsson and Kirchhoff remain separated by just 9 points, and with 5 rounds still remaining, the 2nd step of the podium is still well and truly up for grabs. Yet another strong result from Blair Disley keeps the Australian in 7th place, and Morgan Moran's incredible result put him well back inside the top 10 in 8th position. With Twister Racing failing to score any points for the first time all season, Precision Motorsports now have an outside chance of securing their Constructors' Trophy in the next round. Matt Corp continued to move closer to 2nd position and further away from Too Fast For You in 4th. ATR Silverline are now only 7 points behind Too Fast For You, and having outperformed Twister's sister team in all of the last 6 rounds, ATR Silverline looks set to move on to 4th place. Ward F1 have picked up their first points of the season courtesy of Lee Morris, and Go Speed's Jim Paresis has earned the team another 4 points. The next round will be the Belgian Grand Prix, and you can watch that race live as it happens. Simply go to www.psrtv.com on the 4th of September at 5:30 PM GMT. We hope you've enjoyed today's highlights. I'm Liam Jenkins, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the 12th round of the Formula SimRacing 2011 World Championship.